Hi Joe. Thank you for sending through your videos. So I have been studying your forehand this morning, and it's interesting. It's good. It's some positives, some maybe things that can improve. So let's. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you a written report of your full forehand technique analysis. So you'll see all your weaknesses, all your strengths in the written report, as well as recommendations for future coaching and training. So, but in this video analysis, what we'll do, I'm going to summarize the strengths and the weaknesses, and we'll go over the things that stood out the most. So overall, your forehand technique looks good. You have good biomechanics. I really think that you have good sort of foundation for building on what you already know. So in your case, your forehand is not the case where we have to kind of deconstruct the whole shot, which sometimes is the case with other people's forehands. But in your case, we need to build from where you already are, and you're in a good place. So let's have a look at more specifics. So one thing that I really liked is your circular. So you have a nice circular take back. So your racket. So when you're starting your swing, your racket goes up. You can see here. You're helping with your non-dominant hand to set up. So your non-dominant hand is working really well in a shot. Then you're going into this nice circular swing, backswing. You're dropping the racket below the wrist, which is good. Right here, I'll show you. Yeah, so we want to see this sort of angle, which you have, where racket drops below the wrist. So your contact point is good. Yeah, then we'll go back. So yeah, so let's have a look one more time at the unit turn. So your non-dominant hand is working really well, guiding the racket into the position, changing your grip, adjusting your grip. And then second is the unit turn. So you can see that the way you're turning your shoulders and hips is good. So you're turning it as one unit, because sometimes we see sort of arm going back on its own, and shoulders are kind of not catching up or not doing as much. So we see a good unit turn, a good racket drop, a good contact point. So over here, it's good contact point, right here out in front, right there. It's an excellent contact point. There. Really like to see that. Nice space. So this is kind of classic, really good, nice, classic contact point out in front. So really like to see that. And then you're stepping in, you're transferring your weight, keeping good balance. Although your back foot is coming up slightly here, but I wouldn't worry about it too much, because you're still not off balance. So those are your strengths. Now let's have a look at your weaknesses, or things that you could definitely improve on your forehand. So number one, and this is sort of in order of priority, I think the number one thing that's letting you down on your forehand is you, in between shots, you're quite flat-footed. So we see this a lot in your rally, is a lot of the times in between shots you're quite flat-footed, which is affecting how quickly you're going to be ready for the next ball, how well you're going to adjust for the ball. So it's really focusing on what you do in between shots a little bit more. Because when you're hitting the ball, you can be flat-footed, and in fact I recommend being close to the ground and being flat-footed when you're hitting the ball, so when you're through the hitting zone, and that's great. But then right here, you see, so that's your recovery, flat foot there. So there, flat foot again. So yeah, so it's really focusing on that, what you do in between shots, and being a bit more on your toes in between shots. So there's exercises that we can do for you, and there's ways to improve that. So that's number one. Number two is anticipation. So what I noticed that as long as you were playing from the baseline, it looked good, like you had good anticipation from baseline and you were doing well. Now the moment a ball fell a little bit shorter, and it wasn't even a short ball, so we can see that right here. So you hit a baseline shot, and then the next ball is a little bit shorter. And what we see here is really kind of anticipating quite late that the ball is going to be a bit short, and it looks like you're quite rushed to that ball as opposed to swiftly moving in. So it looks like you're rushing for a ball that's not even that deep. So we're seeing the contact point sort of here. So you're really mid-court, so you're not even sort of close to that close to the service line. So it's a kind of a mid-court, no man's land ball that you anticipated a little bit late, and it felt like a bit of a rush for that ball. So what I would recommend is training a mixed rally, so not just getting comfortable behind the baseline, but moving sort of in. So when you're playing from the baseline, I would recommend playing from here, but then moving in the court, so playing some shots from here, and then moving back out, playing some shots from here, and then moving back in, playing some shots from here, and then moving back, playing some show. I would recommend doing that kind of drill where you're moving in and out a little bit more in the court, rather than staying always kind of getting very comfortable sort of a meter or two behind the baseline. So that's number two. Number three. Okay, so this one's quite subtle, and this might explain why I think maybe some of your shots are going long, because let's have a look. So I think the first one. So you don't do this on every shot, but some forehands, on some of your forehands, right after the contact point. So you can see that your racket face is closed. So right here, your racket face is closed. So you can see it's at this angle. So this is the angle of your racket face. Slightly closed on the contact point, which is good. That's what we want. We want a little bit of topspin. A slightly closed racket face is exactly what we want. But what happens after the contact point? So right there, contact point, and then, okay, there you go. So, and this happens on quite a few of your shots when your racket face opens up slightly right after the contact point, as opposed to staying closed the entire time. And in fact, what I'll do, I might compare that particular technical element, this racket face angle, to myself, and then in the next video I'll also compare it to Roger Federer's, because obviously classic forehand, so we could really, I think, benefit from looking at how the racket face, or the angle of the racket, closes. See, here you're still closed, So what I mean by that, so if you look at that, so here you're still closed. See here? Still closed. Good. But then right here, one frame forward, one frame forward from there, and you see here, right here, can you see how you're, yeah, can you see this is why some of your shots might be going long? Yeah, so closing the racket face throughout the shot. See, there you're starting to close again. See, there's this little bit, so here is closed, closed, slightly opening, really quite open, so you can see here, your racket face is quite open. And then it closes again. Yeah. And then, yeah, so there slightly opens and then closes back down. So there, here, see, in this position, it's already closed again, which is good. So that's your number 3. Another thing I noticed was the leg drive. So what's one of your weaknesses is that when you're playing your shot, so here, you're bending your legs a little bit, which is good, but there could be more leg drive. So here you have a little bent leg, and then it's extending a little bit up, and it's that you have leg drive, so you have some leg drive, but I think there is more room for improvement to have more leg drive in your shots. So this is better. See here? Yeah, so you want something like this on more shots. See how here you're loading in your legs more? And you're quite low in your legs. And then you're coming up. And that's contributing to more power, more momentum. Now, when it comes to your shoulder turn and your leg drive, your movement, or when you're going into the shot, is steady, which is a positive in one way, that your movement is, see here, open. Here we have open racket face. So this is what I was saying earlier. So yeah, so keep focusing on that, closing your racket face. So yeah, driving from your legs a little bit more and a bit more explosive movement. So just having more explosive movement from your legs and from your shoulder turn and hips. So there could be definitely some improvement there as well. So the other thing, the last thing that I've noticed where you can also improve, and again it's a minor thing, this is not where I would probably start, although this might be quite an easy fix, is the non-dominant hand. So you're engaging non-dominant hand here, preparing your racket, taking your racket back, and now you have this separation where your non-dominant hand is going forward. But you can see that here it's staying a little bit close and a little bit bent. So you can see here, at this position you would want your hand already being sort of pointing out there. Yeah. And your hand is kind of staying a little bit close in this position. So yeah, so just having it extend there. So here you would want to extend your arm just a little bit more forward here. Let's have a look at one more. There, see how it's getting tucked in, your hand? yeah, it could be a little more extended in front, but it's not a major thing. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to bring in my own video before we bring in Roger Federer, which will be in the next video. I'm just going to bring in my own video because I wanted to have a look at this racket face. There was one, I think it was here, where your racket face was opening a little bit. That one's alright. There, that one. Okay. Okay, so just having a look at that racket face, that's all. And the non-dominant hand. So in the racket face, so that one, yeah, so see how it's opening a little bit here, see here, little opening there, whereas here, if you look at my racket face, so contact point, and then straight after the contact point, you could see that the racket face is closing. Can you see this? So here, my racket face is closed, looking down, and your racket face is open, looking up slightly. So, and then the last thing, we'll have a look at